Hey everybody, Jedi Jack Luther. I'm back again. This is video number 3 for the day. I'm just trying to catch up on stuff that came in the mail. So, a couple videos back, I showed off a vehicle I'd gotten in from Wheeled Warriors back in '85. It was Saw Boss. I was really impressed with it. Well, I happened to have came across a little extra money and picked me up something to add to it. So what's in the box today? It's more Wheeled Warriors. There we go. That's perfect. Alrighty, so we got Saw Boss last week, and I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm probably sure I did. When I was a kid growing up, I only had two Wheeled Warriors. The first one was Drill Sergeant, which was the good guy's vehicle with big drill. And the other one I had was Gun Grinner. I tried to describe him. I'm sure you could have looked him up, but that's who we're going to start. This is Gun Grinner. As you can see, he's a very mauve, eggplant colored vehicle. He's got a big old grin on his face and this huge weapons array of triple guns sticking out of it. Gun Grinner came complete, which is good. Also cost me a pretty penny. As I said last time, especially concerning Saw Boss, these vehicles, when they're complete, are not cheap. Now, I did witness someone had an auction for Armed Force, who was the leader of the good guys. That auction went for about $23. Armed Force was complete. That leads me to believe that maybe getting lucky enough, I can find a few good guys on an auction and maybe pick them up cheap as well. A lot of people would say, well, why didn't you wait to find these on an auction and get them cheap? I have a feeling that the bad guys are more expensive than the good guys, just because the bad guys are so much cooler. But Gun Grinner is complete. He came with a big green missile, a chrome engine, this big tall gun, the bola arm. He came with a regular chassis and then wheel extensions, which allowed you to put two wheels on one axle, which is really nice because every vehicle came with 3 sets of wheels. And then you're going to have 2 wheels you have to store somewhere. I can see how all the wheels got lost. Gun Grinner solves that problem. With his axle extensions, he can have all 6 wheels on his body at once, which gives him that nice ATV looking, all-terrain vehicle. It can go anywhere. When I say Gun Grinner is complete, there's an asterisk on that. If you look inside, he does not have one of those green rubbery brains. When I got him, he was in great condition. The brain needed to be washed. It was dirty. But after washing it, I noticed there was a problem. It was smelling musty, like it had been left in a basement. And I couldn't get that musty smell out of it. Rubber absorbs really easily. And once it absorbs something, it doesn't get rid of it very easily. In that case, I couldn't keep that brain because if it's a musty smell, that means there's mold involved. Now, you could argue, well, if you washed it really good and cleaned it and everything, it may still smell musty, but you probably killed the mold. Yeah, but I don't want to stick a musty smelling thing in a toy because plastic also absorbs smell pretty well. You don't believe me? Take an action figure, take it to your aunt's house or your grandma's house or whoever's house that chain smokes. Stick the figure in the middle of the living room, come back in a month, pick it up. That figure is going to be smell like cigarette smoke to high heaven. I had that happen with a lot of my toys. At one point, my mom and the guy she was with, they smoked horribly. They smoked. And all my figures I had smelled like cigarette. It took forever to get that smell out of them. So I don't want to stick something that stinks in a plastic container that doesn't have ventilation. The inside is going to stink and then it's going to ruin the toy. I'd rather throw out something that I can get back easily, like a rubber brain, than having to throw this out. So he was complete. I had to get rid of his brain. But other than that, I'll get a brain back. But other than that, he's got all the pieces that he's supposed to have. That brain hides inside the car. You never see it hardly. So, but this one still is one of my favorite toys. Favorite, hands down. I played the devil out of Gungrenner in the day. The missile fired off and everything. Him and Drill Sergeant battled each other, and he normally was the victor just because he just was awesome looking. Now, we're going to move to this one. This is KO Cruiser. Again, Cruiser spelled with a K. I don't know what it was in the 80s that you couldn't use the letter C to spell stuff. It was always with the letter K. We just had Mobile Armored Strike Command with a K, and here is Cruiser with a K. Well, KO Cruiser is basically a blue truck. He looks like an old-fashioned pickup truck from back in the day. I really like the blue color on this. He wasn't one of my favorites. He's slowly becoming a likable character. I got him because I want to get all 4 villains. So I'm only missing one, which is Terror Tank. And he's probably the least favorite because I'm not crazy about the design. But if I want all 4 bad guys, I have to get him. So if I was going to put them in order of favorites, it's Gungrenner, Sawboss, KO Cruiser, and Terror Tank. But I found him, someone was selling him complete, and I jumped on it, just had to get it. He himself is complete, as you said. He's got a weird grin on his face as well. I do not know what the significance of that is, but I guess evil things like to grin at you. I don't know. Cruiser has a whole lot of guns on him. He's got a tri-blaster up here. He's got a regular laser gun. He's got a super-looking laser gun. He's got a rack of 3 missiles here. And his plant weapon is this big bashing ball, which is on a hinge. I'm not a fan. I like the weapon. I don't like this at all. It's too loose. With Gungrenner, the joint point here with the bola is pretty stiff, so you can position it. You can position it like that. Here, it won't stay up. Even if you lift it all the way up, it won't stay up. I'm not sure why they did that. The only thing I can think of is you could plug it into the back hole here, but then that doesn't really look good. You can hardly see it when it's sitting down like that. Oops, get back here. So, his brain was okay. So I stuck, because he came from a different person. So his brain is in his truck. The thing I don't like about this one is with Sawboss and Gungrenner, and I think even Terror Tank, they have hatches that lift up, and the brain goes inside of them. He doesn't have a hatch that lifts up. He just has an open canopy. And another thing that kind of throws you is the canopy pops off. I never knew this. It literally, you could take his head off and place a weapon there or something. Put that back in. I did not know his tab came off like that. So I don't think that was a really good idea. It should have been one unit. I'm not sure why they did it like that. But he's slowly growing on me. No pun intended because of the plant theme. But he is growing on me. I do like the color. The blue color is really pretty, and the green is just perfect with it. But I'm always a big fan of Gungrenner. He's the one I had as a kid. I was so fortunate to get him complete, and these are all complete vehicles. These cost me a pretty penny. They were not cheap, and that's what I stressed about Sawboss. If you're gonna buy these, you might as well put the money into getting them complete, or else you're going to be spending hours on eBay trying to find the specific parts you need. And with the accessory packs having the same part in slightly different colors, you can get thrown for a loop. Again, I recommend Retro Blasting on YouTube. Has a Wheeled Warrior survival guide that lists all the parts. And I've cross-referenced it with another website and they match up 100%. So I'm going to go for the fact that we know these are complete. I'm hoping to get Terror Tank, but he's harder to find. He's not out there like these guys have popped up. And I'm going to like press a few of my connections to see if they can find one for me. I really would like to have one to complete at least the 4 villains. Whether or not I get the 4 good guys, I'll debate that. But if I can get the 4 villains, I'll be happy with that because I think they are much nicer looking. The 4 good guys are all white vehicles with chrome parts and little men that go in them that don't look like anything. So they all look alike to me. Well, they're not. I know they're different. I can tell the differences. But these guys are different colors and different styles, and they just look good, and they're just beautiful toys. So I'm almost done with this. 3/4 of the way through. I just gotta find a complete Terror Tank, and I can actually just rest the Wheeled Warriors set, and I'll have the 4 villains, which will make for a nice set. Because I'm going to be honest with you, when it comes to toys, it's like Monopoly. If you ever play Monopoly, if you buy 1 or 2 properties, you're making some money when someone lands on them. But when you have all the properties, the value goes up. So let's say, we're just going to estimate it. Let's say each of these vehicles I bought complete, just throwing a number out there. I don't want to really give away what I spent, but we're just going to throw out a number. Let's say each of these vehicles I bought was $50. Let's just say $50 is a nice round number. I have 3 of them. That's $150. Terror Tank would make it $200. But with all 4, now the intrinsic value of having the whole set of bad guys raises that up. That $200 can go up to $300 or $350. Not saying that they're being sold. I'm just giving you an idea that the value of a collection goes up when you have all the pieces. It's like Monopoly. Having 1 or 2 is nice, and they retain that value. But once you get a set of them, you have a monopoly of them, that value for the total goes way up because you have them all. So that's the point of having a good collection. That's the point of having a solid collection. If you talk to Star Wars fans who love the vintage Star Wars figures, if they have 75% of the figures, those figures are worth whatever they're worth. But if they have an entire set, that value goes through the roof because they have all of them. So it becomes necessary to collect them. Now, once I get Terror Tank, I get them complete, I'll probably be done with Wheeled Warriors. I'm very doubtful I would really go after the good guys. It's just more money I wouldn't want to spend. If I could get them decently enough, maybe. We'll see. With Masked, I can't do that with Masked. There's a ton of vehicles and a ton of and it would be so much to make the collection, I just couldn't do that. With Masked, I'm only going to pick up a few pieces that I think look nice and just make a nice little mini collection and go with that. So it's nice that with Wheeled Warriors, there's a limited amount of them. Once you get that amount, you're done. You don't have to keep running after them. So, but once again, for what's in the box, I'm Jedi Jack Luther. In this video, we had some more Wheeled Warriors and Monster Minds. These are beautiful vehicles. I will be back again at some point with more toys, some more vintage stuff that we're going to come out with. And then you will see the mysterious what's in the box where we lift it up. You see what's behind door number 1, and it's what's in the box.